Today, let's chat about the third man phenomenon and how it can affect you in times of stress. The third man syndrome, or the felt presence phenomenon, is a term used to describe the experience of a benevolent, unseen presence that appears during extreme physical or psychological stress, often guiding, encouraging, or protecting a person when their survival is uncertain. The name comes from a famous account by Sir Ernest Shackleton. In his book South, he described crossing South Georgia Island after a harrowing Antarctic expedition. Shackleton wrote that during the most grueling part of his journey, he felt, "There were 4 people, not 3. His companions later admitted they felt the same presence but had been reluctant to say so, and feeling as if a 4th companion walked beside him and his 2 crewmates, though only 3 men were physically present. So, other well-documented reports of the third man syndrome are Reinhold Messner Nanga Parbat, 1970. After his brother died during descent, Messner reported sensing a calm presence walking beside him, keeping him focused and alive during extreme exhaustion. Joe Simpson, touching the void. Simpson survived a catastrophic climbing accident in the Andes. While crawling back to camp with a shattered leg, he described hearing a calm, rational voice instructing him step by step how to survive. September 11th and trauma survivors. Several survivors of the 9/11 attacks reported feeling guided by a protective presence, sometimes described as a voice, sometimes as a physical sensation of being directed to safety. Psychological and neurological explanations refer to this as the felt presence phenomenon. Possible explanations include extreme stress response. The brain under trauma may create a guiding other to preserve function. Temporal parietal lobe activation. This brain region helps create the sense of self. Under stress, it can misfire, creating the illusion of another presence. Dissociation for survival. The mind splits into an observer and a doer, allowing calm decision-making. Evolutionary mechanism. Humans are social creatures under threat. The brain may simulate companionship to increase resilience. Neuroscientist research, including studies inspired by Michael Persinger, has explored how certain brain stimulation can induce sense presences. How is the third man syndrome explained in various traditions? Given your interest in energy and spiritual awareness, here's how different traditions interpret it. Angels. In Christian mysticism, such presences are often interpreted as guardian angels or protective spiritual beings assigned to assist in danger. Your ancestors. In many indigenous and ancestral traditions, especially in shamanic cultures, extreme conditions are seen as liminal states where the veil thins, where ancestors may guide descendants during life or death thresholds. Higher self. In metaphysical frameworks, the presence may be the higher self as a transcendent aspect of consciousness stepping forward when ego collapses. Spirit guides. In mediumship traditions, it is sometimes described as a spirit guide intervening during karmic turning points. You may ask, are they ancestors' spirits or angels? There is no universal proof pointing conclusively to one explanation. 3 main possibilities are often considered. 1. Neurobiological survival mechanism. 2. Expanded consciousness under duress. 3. Genuine spiritual intervention. Interestingly, the experiences are almost always benevolent, calm, directive, focused on survival, non-dramatic. They rarely match chaotic hallucinations. That consistency is part of what keeps the mystery alive. Here is a deeper perspective. Some researchers suggest the brain may be the instrument, but not necessarily the source. Just as a radio receives signals, the brain under extreme stress might activate survival circuitry, access transpersonal states, or become more receptive to subtle dimensions of consciousness. From a spiritual development point of view, extreme stress can dissolve ego identity, open altered states, trigger mystical perception. Why does it happen in extremes? Extreme environments share common traits like isolation, sensory deprivation, sleep deprivation, fear of death, and physical exhaustion. These conditions are known to alter perception, thin the boundary between conscious and subconscious, induce mystical states similar to deep meditation or near-death experiences. Whether you interpreted it as a guardian angel, an ancestor spirit, a spirit guide, the higher self, or the brain's miraculous survival intelligence, this phenomenon speaks to something profound. In our most vulnerable moments, many people report they are not alone. Let's explore all three layers in depth. This is where psychology, neurology, and mysticism intersect. The connection between third man syndrome and near-death experiences. Here is what they have in common. Many survivors of extreme trauma report experiences similar to those documented by Raymond Moody in Life After Life. Shared elements include the key difference. Third man syndrome versus near-death experience occurs during survival struggle. Occurs when death is imminent or perceived presence guides survival. Presence may guide transition or return. Person remains physically active. Often includes out-of-body component. Some researchers believe both arise from. But here's the interesting part. In both cases, the presence is benevolent, organized, and purposeful, not chaotic like typical hallucinations. Stress hallucination vs. spiritual encounter. How to differentiate. This is where discernment matters. Stress trauma-based hallucinations often are fragmented or chaotic, produce fear or paranoia, lack coherence, do not provide practical survival guidance, feel intrusive third man mystical type presence often, calm, concise, directive. Nth is where psychology, neurology, and mysticism intersect, encourages survival, feels loving or protective, leaves lasting positive psychological impact, enhances clarity rather than confusion. Example, Joe Simpson in Touching the Void described the voice guiding him step by step as logical and emotionally neutral, almost like a survival coach. He did not interpret it as psychosis, but as a divided yet helpful part of consciousness. How this relates to mediumship and altered states. Now we step into consciousness theory. In mediumship and trance states, the analytical mind quiets, ego identity softens, sensory filtering decreases, right brain and intuitive networks activate. These are similar conditions found in extreme survival stress, deep meditation, sensory deprivation, near-death states. Interestingly, research by Michael Persinger showed that stimulation of certain brain regions could induce a sense presence. But here's the deeper question. Does the brain create it, or does it perceive something when filters drop? 3 interpretive models. 1. Neurological survival mechanism. The brain fragments into the experiencing self, the observing self. This other becomes a survival strategist. 1. Higher self-activation. Under threat, ego collapses. A deeper organizing intelligence emerges. Many mystics describe this as oversoul, higher consciousness, divine spark. 1. External spiritual intervention. In religious traditions, guardian angels, ancestors, spirit guides. Extreme thresholds are seen as moments when the veil thins. Why extreme conditions trigger expanded states? Extreme stress causes cortisol spikes, endorphin flooding, possible endogenous psychedelic release, dissociation, temporal distortion. Ironically, this is similar to advanced meditation, shamanic ordeal initiations, vision quests, near-death states. Anthropologically, many shamans undergo near-death like illness or trauma before awakening abilities. In that sense, third man syndrome may represent a spontaneous altered state of consciousness activated by survival crisis. For someone developing mediumship, here is the key difference between pathology and spiritual sensitivity: healthy expanded perception, increases functioning, improves emotional regulation, enhances compassion, is grounded and controllable unhealthy dissociation, decreases functioning, increases paranoia or fear, is intrusive and destabilizing discernment question. Does the experience make you stronger, clearer, and more integrated, or fragmented and destabilized? A unifying perspective, some consciousness researchers suggest the brain may generate the form of the experience, but not necessarily its source. Just as a radio translates signal into sound, the brain may translate subtle consciousness into perception. Under normal conditions, filters are tight. Under extreme conditions, filters loosen. That loosening may E. Simulate companionship for survival. OR. Allow access to transpersonal awareness. OR. Both simultaneously final thought third man syndrome, NDEs, and mediumship all involve boundary dissolution, altered self-perception, expanded awareness, benevolent guiding intelligence. Whether you interpret it as neurobiology, higher self, ancestors, angels, or the collective unconscious, the pattern across cultures is consistent. At the edge of death or ego dissolution, humans often report guidance rather than abandonment. How does transformation happen without losing stability? Let's go step by step. The shamanic initiation wound theory across cultures, Siberian, Amazonian, Mongolian, native traditions, like shamans often report a wounding event before awakening. Anthropologists studying Siberian traditions, for example, among the Evenki people documented a pattern: severe illness, near-death experience, psychological breakdown, lightning strike survival, intense grief or loss. This crisis was not seen as pathology, but as initiation. The experience often included feeling dismembered in a vision, meeting spirits or ancestors, receiving instructions, returning reborn. The wound breaks the old identity. Psychologically, this aligns with CO death, post-traumatic growth, dissolution of rigid self-structure. The key distinction: the individual reintegrates stronger, not fragmented. Modern trauma without guidance can destabilize. Traditional cultures provided mentorship, ritual container, community validation. Without container, crisis becomes breakdown. With container, crisis becomes transformation. The neuroscience of the God spot, myth versus reality. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Michael Persinger proposed that stimulating the temporal lobes could induce sensed presences. This led to popular media calling it the God spot. But here's the truth. There is no single God spot. Spiritual experiences involve networks and temporal lobe memory, meaning parietal lobe self-boundary awareness, prefrontal cortex interpretation, limbic system emotion. In deep meditation studies of monks and nuns, parietal activity decreases loss of self-boundary, frontal focus increases, emotional centers regulate. So what's happening? When self-boundary processing softens, the brain can generate. So unity experiences, presence sensations, ego dissolution. This does not prove or disprove spirituality. It shows spiritual states correlate with measurable brain changes. Correlation, origin. The brain may produce the experience or process an experience, or both. Practical grounding practices for sensitive mediums. For someone sensitive to subtle states, grounding is essential. Grounding prevents dissociation, energetic overwhelm, emotional bleed through daily physical anchoring, barefoot on earth 10-20 minutes, cold water on wrists, weight training or resistance exercises, slow, deliberate walking. Physical density stabilizes subtle sensitivity. Nervous system regulation, 4-7-8 breathing, extended exhale breathing. Humming stimulates vagus nerve. If the nervous system is dysregulated, spiritual perception becomes distorted. Boundary practice before intuitive work. Intend Only information aligned with my highest good. Visualize containment sphere, light boundary, set time limits boundaries, strength and clarity. Cognitive anchoring after altered states. Eat protein. Journal facts versus impressions. Speak aloud what is physically present. This re-engages left hemisphere processing. 1. How to cultivate altered states safely without trauma. Transformation does not require crisis. You can induce expanded states safely through structured meditation. Gradual practice increases tolerance for ego softening, emotional regulation, and meta-awareness. Start 10. 15 minutes daily. Stability over intensity. Breathwork safely guided. Gentle rhythmic breathing, not extreme hyperventilation. Always in seated position, not alone if new. Stop if dizzy or panicked. Repetitive rhythm. Drumming at 4 to 7 beats per second can induce light trance. This mirrors theta brainwave frequency. Short sessions 10, 15 minutes. Ground afterward. Controlled trance writing. Set timer. Open. Close intentionally. Journal. Return to physical grounding. Containment is key. Integration is everything, the common thread between third man syndrome, shamanic initiation, NDEs, mediumship, mystical states is boundary softening. But safe development requires 1. Strong nervous system 2. Strong body awareness 3. Clear psychological integration 4. Community or mentorship power without grounding leads to instability. Grounding without openness leads to stagnation. The sweet spot is both. Subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching my channel, Medium Angela Heil, Interfaith Minister. Please pop a comment below and let me know what you need help with to develop your higher self. I am offering a free ebook filled with helpful hints. Please go to www.angelaheil.com and request your copy. Becoming a member will give you access to special upcoming lessons and events. Take a look at my other videos. Please subscribe, like, and share. Come back often for more peeks into the future. Blessings X3 Rev Angela at Medium Angela Heil.